What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the last and final edition, the third and final episode of the DRC Diaries. If you guys haven't watched episode 2 and episode 1, please go ahead and click here or here. Go and check those 2 episodes out and then come back to watch this third one. In the description box below, I do have a link to my Patreon. If you guys want to go and support me, I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe to the channel, and let's get to it. Towards the end of my rotation, the 2 months was coming up, and I got the opportunity to actually head out a little bit earlier back to Goma to hike Nyiragongo volcano. It is one of the most active volcanoes in the world. It has a lava lake, so it doesn't necessarily undergo crazy explosive eruptions, but constantly undergoes that lava lake production in the actual crater. Keep in mind, my packing list when I was heading to Africa was dealing with 35+ degree humidity, environment. I wasn't ready to hike up to a 12,000 foot volcano, but that sense of community came through. I borrowed gloves from one person, a hat from another person, borrowed a sleeping bag. People were just committed that I was going to be able to hike this volcano before I was leaving. So I set out very early in the morning, got dropped off in Virunga National Park, where the volcano is located. I actually ended up renting a backpack to put all my stuff in, and we set out. This was one of the hardest hikes I've ever done in my life by far. At the base, 25 degrees, super nice and balmy. I forget what the base was. I'll put it right here. And at this point, having been 2 months in Bukavu, I was getting quite comfortable with the elevation and the altitude. But of course, we're going up to 12,000 feet. So I had never done that in my life before. There was a couple of, actual tourists that were out there also trying to hike this. And we had different paces through the group, but it was grueling going through the jungle, breaking through where you're very exposed. We took numerous breaks. We got lots of snacks and lunches, which was provided to us. But toward the end, I would take 2 steps and have to take a break, and then 2 steps and take a break. But we finally made it. After 6 hours of hiking, we got to the top of the volcano. We just got to the peak of the volcano, and it's really freaking cold, hence why I'm trying to enjoy some of this tea, and hopefully it just stopped raining so we'll get to see it a little bit more. We would just have to hike, like a couple feet to the actual crater, and the lava is about 1,500 feet down. So like the crater itself, and then you could see the lava, and that distance was still close enough to feel the heat. Standing at the peak of the volcano, and like the crater was keeping me warm. So I would stay there until I had to go to sleep. So the shacks were built on the side of the mountain. So like no running water, like no hot dinner, just like a couple snacks. These little huts, just with like a sleeping pad and the sleeping bag that I had borrowed. So very cold night. We were so sweaty, and I don't think you can sleep super well at the top of an active volcano. Had a couple drinks with some of the other hikers that were also there, and then finally tried to pass out. Woke up at 5 in the morning. We were like stuck in cloud, very low visibility, couldn't really see very far ahead of us. It only took us about 3 hours to head back down. And I was very grateful for a shower that night, let me tell you. An amazing experience. And if you guys ever head out to Virunga National Park, I would highly recommend hiking that volcano. Is this something that you guys have done? I asked this on my Instagram if anybody's hiked a volcano, because there's not that many around and not everybody wants to do that. So after hiking that volcano, spent a couple more days in Goma recovering before heading out and flying out. I'll never forget spending Canadian Thanksgiving with all the, my Canadian friends in Bukavu, and the communal aspect of like cooking meals together and going out for drinks was so much fun. And to this day, there's still some friendships that I maintain from, that short time that I was there, because it's tough. There's no doubt about it. Some aspects of being down there are exhausting. You miss your home comfort. We have internet, but it's 3G. So having conversations, you're still able to even text and call one another, occasionally. And it's not the greatest, but it's tough when you're on your own down there and you don't necessarily have your family. So it's really important to have those friendships and that community feeling to support one another. Some of it can be, obviously, it's quite lonely at times with the time change and all that. Being there in that environment, it humbles you. It's definitely something that changed me for the better. I definitely became a lot more conscious of recycling and caring for our earth, and reducing the amount of trash that I create, because you end up seeing what different countries have in terms of recycling and waste management, and it's not the same as here. So it makes you very conscious, and I'm grateful to be able to drink tap water, not have to worry about not making me sick. Like I said, there are times where you feel lonely. There are times where you feel very separated. You end up missing, birthdays or special anniversaries or things that mean a lot to you. And that's a challenge with any type of aviation job, but when you're gone for 2 months at a time, it can sometimes take a toll on you. So I was definitely excited to head home at this point. I actually went through a really low part in my life when I came back, because I felt like I had experienced something that changed me so much that I had a hard time integrating back to society. I'd seen, just the most impoverished environment that I've ever interacted with. So being in that environment and still recognizing that you are treated like the best, the contrast of what you have versus what other people don't have is very apparent in that environment. And that was something that I had a hard time with, because I care, I worry a lot, and seeing children without shoes and begging on the side of the street on our daily drive, it's not something that leaves you. It's something that stays with you for the rest of your life, and it just puts you in a position where you want to try to help and you want to try to do something. But another thing that I learned too while I was there is the amount of joy from the smallest things, and how consumerism and the materialistic side of things, it doesn't bring that extra joy. So that's something that I really took with me that will never leave me from my experience when I was flying in Africa. So I'm very, very grateful for that. Now on to flying home. So flying home from Goma, I had to fly back to Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. I had to go back to that airport again, which we'll just leave it at that. Then flying from Addis Ababa back to Toronto with a stop in Dublin for fuel. And then it was like a 15-hour flight in total back to Toronto. I think I slept a solid 20 hours when I got home, because I was still exhausted from hiking the volcano, and I just flew 15 hours in a plane, which is exhausting. So the rotation schedule that I mentioned was 2 months on and then 2 months off. So due to some unforeseen circumstances, the company that I was with actually ended up losing a bunch of contracts at the time. So I was left in a position where I didn't know whether or not I would be flying again with them. So lots of back and forth, 2 months of just not knowing. I was supposed to head out to Mali in January of 2018. And if you guys know anything about the happenings, it wasn't the safest. Lots of disruptions, a little bit less safe than the environment that I had been in the DRC. So I was very hesitant to go back, and I didn't know whether I was going to be flying or whether I was just going to be based out of there. So through no fault of the company that I was with, it just happened to be really crappy timing. It was just something that I was just I wasn't comfortable. The risk was a little bit too high for me at the time. I made the very, very tough decision to not go back, unfortunately, to start with the company that I am currently with. That's my story of flying in Africa. I absolutely loved my time there, and I wish I could go back. There's so many aspects that I absolutely enjoyed. So let me know what you guys think. Is this something that you guys would do? Is this something that you're interested in doing? I would love for you guys to ask some questions below. It's definitely something that's quite special, and I understand that people have a lot of questions. And I always encourage people that before they go to the airlines, if this is something they're considering, you know, to like expand themselves and to consider other options. And that's just me. It's totally up to you to make your career how you want it. I hope you guys enjoyed this throwback. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up so I know that you guys are enjoying this content. And please subscribe to my channel so you guys can see some more videos. Can't wait to do another one for you guys, and I hope everybody has an amazing day. I will see you guys soon.